ॐ नमो नारायणाय। ॐ नमो नारायणाय। ॐ नमो नारायणाय। ॐ नमो नारायणाय।
श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि।
रामानुजदया पात्रम् ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यम् वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम्।
சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஊரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
So let us look at the next line from this page 94 in Sanskrit. So Uktam cha, it is said further. So Tat cha, I think there's a typo in Sanskrit. Sorry, it's not a typo. So Tat Chet, I think I read it wrongly last time. So Tat Chet, this should be the right version. So Tat Chet Etat Shruti Patha Paribhrashta Tantraihi Samanam Patratvena Prasajati Tada Somapaha Te Surapaha Iti. So let us take this sentence next. So in this session, Uktam cha, it is said. It is also said Uktam cha. So let us recapitulate what we saw yesterday. So the welfare and its maintenance must continue for everyone. And the Shastra, the science must be the good science. Sattva science, you can say. We cannot translate it very strongly. Very, what you call, appropriately. So it should be a Sattvatam Shastram. Perhaps a Shastram which has been not literally, it is Sattvam. Sattvam is a good quality. We also say the divine figure of Lord Sriman Narayana in any form, like starting with the Pararupam in Srivaikuntham, Vyuha Rupam in Vyuha form, and then third is Vibhava Rupam in all the incarnations, and then in our mind, Antaryami, and also Archa in the temples. The figure of Lord is always full of Sattvam. It is not made up of the other two qualities, not an iota of all the other two qualities, namely Rajas and Tamas. Rajas and Tamas are bad and worse qualities. Tamas is darkness of ignorance, and Rajas is the pride in the Lord. So he is always humble. Lord is always humble. He has got only good qualities. Kalyana Gunaha, auspicious qualities. That's why we call him Nirguna Brahma in our case. We accept the word Nirguna Brahma, meaning that Heya Guna Brahma, meaning there are no bad qualities at all in the Lord. So with this background of yesterday, when people shout in vain, rather aloud, saying that Agamam is not, rather Agamam in the sense, Agamaha in the sense, Pancaratra and others, traditions. are not authoritative. No scripture is authority, and so on. No Upanishad is authority. So when they argue like this, Alavandar, other in Tamil, and called Yamuna Muni, who is the second preceptor, you can say. First preceptor was Nathamuni, second preceptor is Yamuna Muni for Vedanta Deshika, and of course our Sampradaya, common to both Vadagalai and Tengal, northern and southern versions of Sri Vaishnavas. So these three people are common: Nathamuni, Yamuna Muni, and Ramanuja Muni. So that's why we say Munitraya Sampradaya, the tradition coming under three sages. So here this Yamuna Muni wrote a book called Agama Pramanyam. So in the Agama Pramanyam, he has refuted all the opponents' arguments. And now we go to the next point. So Tatvacha, that point, namely acceptance of Sri Vaishnava's Pancaratra tradition as the best based on scriptures. Etat tat chet, if it is so, chet means if, chet means if it is so, tat shruti patha paribhrashta tantraihi. Now, how about the tantra, namely what you call the procedural books, which are against the scriptures? They go away from the path of scriptures. Shruti, scripture; patha, path. English path, P-A-T-H, is exactly same with the P-A-T-H-A in Sanskrit. So, patha, path. Then paribhrashta, so they deviated. So, tantraihi, samanam. So, equal to those deviated arguments on procedures. Patratvena prasajati, if they are appropriate. Patram is character. So if they are in tune with the Pancharatra tradition, we can say. Whenever we refer to something basic, we always use the word Pancharatra here. So Patratvena prasajati, then if even if the opponent's arguments are in tune with Pancharatra tradition, then tada Somapaha te Surapaha. Vedanta Deshika is a little humorous in saying, when you say people drink Soma, Soma is the name of the drink, and Sura is liquor. So Soma in heaven, Swarga, is supposed to be the name for liquor. Intoxicating or not, we don't know whether it is intoxicating or Sattvika intoxicant, right? Good. So Soma. Here, for practical purposes, we cannot get either Amrutam, that is nectar, or Soma in this world, materialistic world. Therefore, we use the Tamil name Seendil Kodi. Seendil Kodi means creeper. Seendil is the name of Tamil creeper. Creeper in Tamil. So that is made it into juice, and it is used in sacrifices, practically here. So liquor is not used. So Sura is liquor. So how do you consider that people who have, as Keshav Swami rightly put it, sattvic intoxicant and tamasic or rajasic intoxicant like liquor, are they both same? Are they both same? So that is what he is trying to, attempting to create humor. Then they will be equal. Somapaha is equal to Surapaha. That means even when we accept our opponent's arguments, we cannot agree with them totally. That's mean. So, Shudra Archana Adi Prasange. When uninitiated person, I would not call it Shudra as a fourth Varna, fourth caste in the system. Though Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita based these four Varnas on the basis of action and also attitude. Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. Guna, the quality, character, and the attitude, you can say. Karma, action. So, based on the action, the business of this society, the people have been divided into. It's rather division of labor only. Nothing else. Division, not one is a higher caste, the other is lower caste. Now, people who invaded India correctly understood the terms and divided the Indians. And therefore, we were slaves and we were fools to follow their meaning. And then, so the division was not based on either what you call higher birth and lower birth and so on. So we cannot even today claim that because I am born in a particular family, I belong to that caste because I don't follow the tradition also. So any individual, for example, in a Brahmin family, so-called Brahmin family, he is born a Shudra. Initially, he is born a Shudra. The word Shudra, I think I don't know what you call derivation of Shudra. Brahmana, of course, we can say one or two meanings. Uh, so the Kshatriya, we say ruling class. Vaishya is business class. And Shudra is serving class. Of course, we include civil engineers who construct buildings and so on, bridges. No, they are, of course, they are happy. They must be happy. In Sahasranama, Vishnu Sahasranama, Phalashruti, in the advantages list of Vishnu Sahasranama recitation, you find the Shudra Sukham Avapniya. He will be always happy in serving the other sections of the society and themselves. Swayam Sevaka. They are all self-serving people and others. It's a very great service also. So you say Vedantako Brahmanasya. An initiated person should always study hard the scriptures and understand Upanishads. So Vedantako Brahmanasya. Kshatriyo Vijayi Bhavet. Wherever the warrior goes, royal family goes, he will have victory over wars and over other kingdoms. Vijayi Bhavet. Victory over projects also. Projects which help the society. A king must also take care of the people. So third one is Vedantako Brahmanasya Kshatriyo Vijayi Bhavet. Vaishyo Dhana Samardhasya. These will be Bill Gates, Ambanis, and Rockefellers. So Vaishya, business class. Marwaris. Only in the case of Sindhi language talking people, we are called Marwaris. So here we have got Sreshti, Shettiar we say in Tamil. Sreshti. A businessman must be honest. If he is not honest, if he is dishonest, he is not a good businessman. Today you understand what honesty is. Honesty is absent. They don't know the spelling of honesty. So here, so we are. Why I say this is this should not be mistaken as the what you call last in the rung of the ladder. It is not the last rung of the ladder, but it should be very helpful when we want to climb a ladder. When the last rung, RUNG, must be there, must be present. Otherwise, how can we climb up? So each part of the society, the four divisions, is very important to the development of the society. Though the scripture says, Purusha Suktam says, the Shudras were born from the leg. We have, of course, many people think that this derogatory, Padbhyam Shudro Jayate, Padbhyagum Shudro Ajayate. Good. They must not think that they are lower in quality. How can we move without legs? So it's impossible. So Shudra, Archana. So meaning the people who have not studied the Agama tradition, temple tradition, when they try to become priests in temple. So Archana is worshipping by names of the god, Archana, and Adi, etc. That means it includes puja also, worship of people, worship of the Lord by the Shudra clan. So, prasange in the context, so tu, but, evam, this is the counter argument, pratibandhi. Pratibandhi is counter argument. So, Sri Krishna Munibhirukta has been said by a sage called Sri Krishna. Sometimes Vedanta Deshika's quotations, names of authors are not traceable. Maybe this may be traceable. We do not know. So Havishkritaha, what he said was this. Havishkritaha yatha shudre yatha va bahuyajinaha nirvahaha kriyate tat vat shastrasya asya api na anyatha. Now, as an illiterate to the traditions of the temple tradition, or even a normal tradition of performance of yagas, the sacrifices, if one doesn't know, then what will be the use of that process? The ritual is in vain. The ritual will be useless. So, Havishkritaha. Havish is Havis. It's what you call boiled rice, generally, or ghee, or any oblation offered to the fire. So there are very strict rules on the oblations to be offered to the fire god. And if one does not know how to prepare those oblations, then he is a Shudra. So yatha, as Shudre Havishkritaha, a person not knowing the procedure performs a fire ritual where an oblation is offered, or yathava, or rather bahuyajinaha. There are people who perform frequently sacrifices. Recently, I went to the birthday celebration, 76th birthday celebration of a local scholar here. And they said the Homa is called Aindri Homa. Aindri and Kaushika Homa, they said. We are not aware of it. Only Samavedians know. It seems Samavedians know the Aindri Homa and Kaushika Homa. Kaushika does not refer to the sage called Vishwamitra or anything else, Gotra. So it's not a name of the clan. Nor Indra is being worshipped. And perhaps all of us know that Indra is the god of gods who, when worshipped, grants all our wishes. And his Antaryami, according to Vaishnava Sampradaya, is Lord Sriman Narayana. So Indra's, any god for that matter, call it a demigod, Shudra Devata, starting from Shiva, Brahma, Shiva, and so on. So Indra being the head of the uh, gods group, whenever we propitiate him as an Antaryami of Antaryami of Indra, namely Lord Sriman Narayana, bestows on our family welfare. So here, so many people, many sacrifices are performed. So when frequently sacrifices are performed, one may go wrong. One may likely to go wrong. So in pronunciation of spells, powerful words, in procedures, tantras, and so on. Therefore, so what to do at that moment when what you call unlettered person performing sacrifice? Then nirvaha kriyate, how to manage. So management is done. Nirvaha management kriyate is done. Tadvat. So how do you account for such bad sacrifices, rather improper sacrifices? So tadvat shastrasya asyapi na anyatha. As we try to what you call either impeach or get make remedial measures for such a wrong incident, then tadvat, just like that. Here we cannot reject the Pancaratra tradition. Shastrasya asyapi na anyatha. So this Shastra cannot become wrong. This Shastra will not be having any remedial measures. The Shastra should be is perfect, and it should be done perfectly. That's all. Perfection is important. That's the meaning. So this Shastra has no other substitute. That's the meaning. You cannot replace this Shastra with some other tradition, which will be the better tradition or best. So we go to page 95. Now again, because we are not very sure of the meaning of this sentence spoken by Krishna Muni, Sri Krishna Muni. Therefore, I am Arthaha. This is the meaning. I am this Arthaha meaning. This is the import. This is the purport of the sentence uttered by Sri Krishna Muni. Yatha Avishkrit Adhave iti sutrasya Bahuyajinaha Agarat Sudra Varjanam इत्यादि वाक्येषु कर्म विशेष अधिकारम उपचार विशेषम वा समालंब्य निर्वाहः तद्वत् इह अपि इति. So when the what you call a person without knowledge of scriptures, Pancharatra tradition, and so on, so he performs a ritual, a fire ritual. He mutters, rather he says or utters, utters, wrong words like Havishkrita Adhava. The peculiar term is wrong. Dhava, wrong in the sense, Vedanteshika gives an example. So, Dhava means run away, jump. Dhava means jump, Dhava means run away. Adhava means come running. So, this is not the way to use welcome gods. So, Havishkrita Adhava meaning oh Havish, one who offers oblation, please come. This is a meaning intended by the people who do not know how to perform sacrifices. So they become bahuyajinaha, as we saw earlier. Too many sacrifices are performed. Recently, I asked a Vajapeyi, last week you performed a ritual and this week you are performing a ritual. What are the names? He said, one is Brihaspati Yaga. Brihaspati is Guru, the teacher, preceptor of all gods. So he said Brihaspati Yaga was done in last week. What about this week? He said Ganapati Home. So there are so many. It seems he said 16 rituals have been performed. 16, including Vajpayee. I think someone said Ashwamedha cannot be performed in this Kali Yuga, which is sponsored by a king. Maybe, of course, today a government can sponsor, a rich person can sponsor, but Ashwamedha is not the yaga meant for Kali Yuga. So suppose somebody says, I have performed Ashwamedha, that means he is totally false. So with this, so Bahuyajinaha, then Agarat Shudra Varjanam. Suppose we want to make a remedy, expiatory measures for doing something wrong, then what do we do? What do we do is dismiss him from the place. Agarat from the place of sacrifice, Shudra Varjanam, avoiding his presence. So Shudra Varjanam Ityadi Vakyeshu. There are some, I think this aphorism like sentence. Havishkritadhaveti Shudrasya Bahuyajino Garat Shudra Varjanam is a particular quotation from, I think it must be from Sri Krishnamuni or somebody else. I think we may have to search in Sri Bhashyam also, Brahma Sutra Bhashyam. So, Ityadi Vakyeshu, in such sentences, etc., Vakyam sentence, Adi, etc., so in such sentences, etc., then Karma Vishesha Adhikaram, Upachara Vishesham Va Samalambya. Now we have to resort to, in order to make expiatory measures, the rather remedial action, when we want to take remedial action, so we have to look at the rules of karma adhikar. Who has got the right to perform actions? Karma adhikar. So again, there are a lot of actions involved in a sacrifice, and therefore karma vishesha adhikar. Generally, as all of us know, Samanya Dharma is there, Vishesha Dharma is there. Dharma is divided into two categories. There are some dharmas common to all. That is Samanya Dharma. Samanya means common. Talking truth is one of the common, general. So common, it's called common. Yeah, general pious act, duty, beautiful action. So righteousness, charity, in all this, so we have got what we call sadharana dharma. And then Vishesha dharma, according to the varna and ashrama. When you are a bachelorhood doesn't mean unmarried status. I think Venugopal Swami knows very well. So brahmacharya is not it's called the celibacy in English, but that is actually keeping away from sins, especially sensual pleasures. That is not it. So brahmacharya means not keeping away from materialistic pleasures, but it is our approach to God, our proximity to God. So brahmacharya ashrama. Then after getting married, grihastha ashrama. So married status doesn't mean that we have a wife, children, and so on. So, but that is not the basic. So in Grihastha also, our worship continues. Worship of God continues. In Hare Rama, Hare Krishna movement, ISKCON, so they have Grihastha Brahmacharis. They call it Grihastha Brahmacharis. I got the term, very peculiar term. That means Brahmachari must have more time to devote to the God, and a family man has got responsibilities catering to the family members, but still he cannot forget God. More time must be allotted to God. And then, so Grihastha Brahmachari, then again Vanaprastha, going to the forest along with the family. The kings used to go to the forest along with his wife. And then again perform aradhanam, propitiation of gods. And then lastly, the de-link from the family and so on. So remaining alone in the forest. Forest is what you call exclusive area where there is no disturbance, deviation, distraction, and so on. So, and people become sannyasis, monks, mendicants, recluses, who relinquished everything. Relinquished everything. At least in attitude, they must relinquish food, clothing. There were so many avadhutas in our land. One was in Alangudi, I heard so. He passed away in 1934, before all of us were born. So 1934, he was said to have traveled all over India, and he has been abadhuta, meaning naked without dress. And he was quite good in delivering discourses on Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayanam, Mahabharatam, and so on. It was said. We are celebrating his birthday even today. And you have another Avadhuta recently identified by me near Mysore. It's called Ganapati Satchidananda Ashram. There was one Avadhuta sannyasi who believed in a god by name Datta. So it's in Dattanagar, near Mysore. So why is it? There were people who relinquished everything, dress, and they don't take food for many years also. Even now, I have seen a person who has been fasting for 3 years in Vyasa Guha near Badrinath. These are all some. So what I want to say is the four ashramas have got rules of duty. So karma vishesha adhikara. So the right to do special duty. Then upachara vishesham. Again, in the preliminary as well as subsidiary procedures of propitiation, we have upachara, meaning actually hospitality, if it is called atithi upachara, to the guest at home, and the guest must be always treated as God, even when he has not told you by WhatsApp or phone or letter or email that he is coming. So he must be worshipped at all costs. So he must be respected as God. There is a statement in Sanskrit, Balova, Yuvava, Vruddhova, Grihamagataha. Whether a young boy, that is young child, Balova, Yuvava, a youth, a budding Taruna, we say, within the age of 30 years. And then an old man, Vruddha, an old lady or old man. Grihamagataha, when he comes home, tasya puja vidhatavya. Tasya puja vidhatavya. He must be catered to. All his needs must be met. How? Griham abhyagato guruhu. He is our preceptor when he visits our home. So a lot of, rules, a lot of actually manners, a lot of procedures are there. So when we say upachara, so upachara is making the Lord amused by happy, making him happy. So upachara vishesham. Again, how do we know that? Yeah, how do we know that the upachara must be done in temples? There are 16, 1-6, Shodashopachara. Example is fanning, showing the mirror for or making up oneself, to make up, to have a makeup. So we have so many things. So an umbrella is shown. So we must know the procedures to perform 16 upacharas. So upachara vishesham cha or rather samalambya, based upon. So getting support from the rules in the tradition, temple tradition, to understand who has got the right to perform special actions and special procedures of what we call appreciation, adoration. You can say adoration. Upachara can be adoration. Vishesham. Samadhimya nirvahaha. So management. Tatu vati happy. Now, whenever we commit a mistake, in the sense, commissions occur, wrong actions are performed, by anybody. The latest information that you may know, in Puri Jagannath, Puri, not Puri. So in Orissa state, you have Jagannatha temple, Subhadra, Balarama, and Lord Krishna's temple. So you have, there are some procedures. And if they go away from the procedure, they make a remedial action, which shocks us. So they prepare food, rather what you call chapati, about 5 lakhs or something like that, for the devotees. And if anything untoward happens, then they throw away all the chapatis to the trash, dustbin. So they don't mind. So very strict procedure is, so somebody is allowed inside where he has no right to enter and so on. So here, when such remedial actions are performed, so also here also you must do it, but be very careful in this Pancaratra tradition. Don't make wrong steps. That's what Vedanta Deshika recommends. So here we are going to a very big paragraph. We will stop where it's convenient and by the time. So Bhattarakaihi cha tantrantarebhyaha idam sarvatrikena pramanyena vibhajyata. Now, the later priest, you can say Bhattarakaihi. Bhattaraka may be a particular name. I'm also not in the know of this word. So, Bhattarakaihi. It may be in plural for a single person. There may be Bhattaraka Tantra is there. And the Tantra is different. So, Tantrantarebhyaha. From the other Tantras of Bhattaraka, in order to have a common authority, Sarvatrikena Pramanyena. Pramanyam authority, so you can rely on that. You can confide in that. You can depend on that. You can believe it. So it is Sarvatrikam. Sarvatrikam is just now we discussed what is common dharma and general dharma and Vishesha dharma. We saw karma Vishesha adhikara and upachara Vishesha. In the same way, so you have common authority. It is general to all. It is applicable to all. Sarvatrikena pramanyena, having a common thread throughout all traditions, vyabhajyata, it has been divided. It has been divided. So idam vyabhajyata, this has been divided on the basis of commonness, oneness in other tantras of Bhattaraka. Tasmat, therefore, Sankhyam sa yogam. So we discussed these two darshanas also. So both Sankyam along with Yogam, both Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya basically meaning based on number. And you will find how this number is arrived at. We have got peculiar numbers in our Shastras. 32 is there, 26 is there. So you have to find out how these numbers are accountable. That is why Sankhya has got 72 karikas. This number is significant. So there are 72 aphorisms. We call it karika. Previously we said sutram. She is Vyasa's Brahma Sutram. And now we say karika. Karika in the case of Sankhya philosophy. There was Kapila wrote 72 karikas. Kapila Maharishi, the great sage. Then Sayogam, so along with yoga philosophy, then Sa Pashupati Matam, along with Pashupati's tradition. Pashupati is a Matam we just saw. Shiva tradition, Shaiva tradition. Then Kutrachit, somewhere, Pancharatram, our tradition Pancharatram, Sarvatra, everywhere, Eva Pramanam. So whether we know you and use these traditions, Sankhya, Yoga, Pashupati, and so on, somewhere Pancharatra principles are found there. So, but Pancharatra becomes the authority. It will be understood. It is to be understood as authority in all these traditions. Tat idam avagatam. So this is to be understood. And it has been understood, he says. Avagatam. Already past. So it's a past passive noun. So avagatam. So it has been known now. Everybody knows that. Tadidam avagatam. So now what do we know? Panchamadeva Vedat. So from the fifth scripture. So from Mahabharata, we can understand that all other tantras, darshanas, philosophies like Sankhya, Yoga, Pashupati and so on, Pashupati Matam, so they have Pancharatra as their authority, basis, fundamental principle. Panchamadeva Vedat, what is the fifth scripture? Which is the fifth scripture? Mahabharata. So tatu etat. This is that. This word is used in English also. This is that. That is this. So Mahataha, English and Sanskrit are in the same group of Indo-Germanic languages. And they have got pronunciation, sound, meaning, in many words, same. So Mahataha Veda Vrikshasya, Mahato Veda Vrikshasya, the tree called scripture. Now we have what we call a diagram in computer. So we say now we are going for every tree diagram now. I forgot the technical name for the diagram. So we have before we what we call create a software in computer. So we have to have a blueprint, and the blueprint will have a diagram. So now the tree diagram is a scripture tree. So Mahataha Veda Vrikshasya. So it's a very great long diagram of scriptural tree, Veda Vrikshasya. Moola Bhutaha. So what is the root for this, basic for this tree? Moola Bhutaha, Mahan Ayam. The great, this is the great root, R-O-O-T. Moola is root, R-O-O-T. So now, this is again, I think, a sentence, a quote from Krishna Bhattaraka, Bhattaraka Tantra. Mahato Veda Vrikshasya Moola Bhuto Mahanayam. This is a specific sentence within inverted commas to be understood. So iti adi ukta ananta shakha ashraya rik adi skandha vihi skanda bidura nigama taru moola bhaga upabrahmana rupam. Let me read the full sentence. Swa moola nigama bhaga bhedat rigadivat eva chaturdha avatisthate agama siddhantah mantra siddhantah tantra siddhantah tantrantara siddhantah. Swami Vedanta Jajika is very clear in his presentation. We have to appreciate his clarity in the presentation. That is why he is now adored by all. Slowly and slowly, he is being recognized by the whole world. He always says positive things, everything positive. He never goes pessimistic. So here, let us understand this sentence. Oh, sorry, some noise is heard. So, ityadi, etc. Ukta, already said. Ananta Shakha Shraya Rig. The Rig Veda itself has got endless number of branches. Ananta endless, Anta end, Ananta endless, Shakha branches, Ashraya resorting to Rig. Rig is the first scripture. Rig. Adi, etc. meaning add Yajur and Saman. Rig, Yajur, Saman. Then Skandha. Skandha is the name of the chapter. Rather, here, as it is tree, Veda Vriksha, the branch is Rig. Veda Vriksha is a tree, Veda is a tree, Scripture is a tree, and Rig, Yajus, Saman are the three Vedas. Let us take Atharva later. Shakha are branches. So under these branches, we have got nodes. Skanda is node, N-O-D. Skanda. Then Bidura, therefore we understand some divisions. So when you take a stick, it has got nodes. One familiar example is you see sugar cane. Every half foot, 6 inches or 5 inches or 4 inches or 2 inches, according to the height of the sugar cane, you find nodes, skandha. Bidura, so they have a break. Every time they have a break. And Nigama, So Nigama again scripture. Nigama also can be called what you call directions, instructions. That's what can be the Nigama. So Taru, again Vriksha, Moola. Taru is tree, Moola root. Then Moola Bhaga is the full root. The entire, the roots are many. For example, again, take the coconut tree. You will find that the roots are spreading over large area under the earth. And therefore, so Moola Bhaga, so the basic root of these scriptures, starting with Rig and so on, Upabrahmana Rupam. Upabrahmanam is explanatory form, Rupam form. So the Pancaratra will be giving us a brief presentation over the explanation of the root, the entire root, R-O-O-T, of the different stems of the branches of the tree called scripture. So Swamula Nigama Bhaga Vedat. And how does it give such a brief note? Meaning its own, Pancharatra has got its own directions, divided into smaller parts. Swamula, its own root, Swa O-W-N, Mula root, Nigama, the direction, Bhaga, the portion, Vedat, by the difference. So from the difference, you can say, from the difference of the portion of directions of its own root, R-O-O-T, just like Rigadivat, just like Rig, Yajus, Saman, these three scriptures, main scriptures, Chaturdha Avatishthate, they become four-folded. Chaturdha meaning four-folded, Avatishthate stands. Avatishthate means stands firmly. So Avatishthate. Tishtati meaning stands. Avatishthate meaning it has got a firm basis, quite unshakable basis. Now, how do we look at these four divisions? Yeah, firmly established. So, Agama Siddhanta, conclusion by scriptures, Agama. So, again, Agama in this context is temple tradition. Generally, Agama means scripture. Then, second is Mantra Siddhanta, procedural conclusion. Mantra Siddhanta. Mantra Siddhanta is powerful words conclusion. By words, oral conclusion. Mantra Siddhanta is oral conclusion by words, sound, accents, and so on. Very important is accent. Very important is accent. There are three accents. In English, it is also said equivalent. So we call it Udata, Anudata, Swarita, and Keshavdas Swami will add one more also. So sometimes four. So Udata is, Dirgha Swarita, right. I think you have the accent names in English also. Protracted, abstruse, and so on. I am not very familiar with these English words now, suddenly. Acute, grave, and circumflex. Very good. That's why you are more familiar with the English words. Acute, grave, and circumflex. So grave becomes Anudata, acute is Udata, circumflex is Swarita. So these accents are very important to understand the meaning of the scriptural words. Therefore, Mantra Siddhanta, the conclusion of the spells, Mantra Siddhanta. Third division is Tantra Siddhanta, procedural conclusion. How to go about, where to place what, when, how. So these are all, you ask all question tags it has got Tantra. Tantra has got the answer. So Tantra Siddhanta. Then Tantrantara Siddhanta. So there are different procedures of performing the same sacrifice. So Tantrantara Siddhanta. Conclusion of now in a particular context, in a particular situation, same sacrifice, name of the sacrifice differs in procedure. So these are the 4 divisions under this great tradition. And the presentation is lucid by Vedanta Deshika. And if we entertain doubt, then God should bless us with knowledge to explain further with the support of many sages' words.
रामानुजदया पात्रम् ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यम् वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम्
कवितार्किकसिंहाय कल्याणगुणशालिने श्रीमते वेङ्कटेशाय वेदान्तगुरवे नमः.
சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஊரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய. ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய. ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய. ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய.